I'm here to talk about the Mow & Stow engine. I really want to give you a little bit of background on how we arrived at the design we have today. We started looking at different fuel tanks and different engines and how they might work. And what it really turned into was an exercise in we had to learn how to contain the fuel and oil when the engine was in that vertical position. So what we wound up doing was looking at every possible way that fuel or oil could get out of the engine, and we made design changes to address every single one of those areas.
To allow a mower to store vertically, we had to make a few design changes. The first was developing a new handle system with quick release levers that allows for one operating in two storage positions. In addition, we evolved the handle bracket system to create a secure and stable footing for the mower when it's in a vertical storage position. And finally, we added a front bumper to the mower to give the operator a secondary handle location when lifting the mower, but to also protect both landscape and the mower during use.
One of the keys to doing Mow & Stow was that the fuel tank actually has a unique shape. As you can see here, the blue fluid represents fuel, and this is about as high as the fuel level is ever going to be in the fuel tank. And what you're going to see happen here is that as I roll it into the vertical storage position, the fuel level actually stays below the fuel cap, so there's really no chance of fuel ever leaking out of this fuel tank. So this is the carburetor of the engine, and what I'm pointing to here is a vent. And if you can imagine, the fuel bowl here is full of fuel, but when I tilt it to the vertical position, this vent can be below the level of fuel in the carburetor, which can cause weepage. So what we changed is we moved the vent to the top of the carburetor, and so that the level of fuel will never be above that vent and there will be no weepage. Once we changed the carburetor, we had to change the vent in the parts that attach to the carburetor. This is an air cleaner backplate and a gasket, and the vent used to be on this side, but again, once we moved it on the carburetor, we had to move it on the other parts that attach to it, so the vent is now here in this position. This is the oil fill tube assembly, and we had to make a couple changes to improve how well it's sealed. And so what you see on this part is that there's some flats on this O-ring assembly, and flats don't seal as well as round. So what you're going to see on the new component is that it is a completely round seal with a rubber O-ring in it, and it's got actually a round-on-round seal inside of the tube assembly, which is more robust. This is a cylinder block of a normal lawnmower engine, and normally what happens is the oil level sits down about where my hand is now. If you can imagine now, I turn this vertically and I'm in the storage position. The oil level's again about up to here. So what's happened is that the interaction between my dipstick and the cylinder has now become a sealing area that has to be solid to keep the oil in. So what we did is we actually improved the machining process, and so the surface finish or smoothness of that part is better. So the interaction between the rubber O-ring and the cylinder is improved, making sure that oil doesn't leak out. This is the gasket that goes between the cylinder of the engine and the base or sump of the engine. And it's a paper gasket, and that's great for normal operation. But when you want to store it vertically, we wanted to be very sure that the oil was sealed inside. So we added this little rubber seal around the perimeter of the gasket to make sure that the seal is robust and awesome. So this is the governor shaft sticking through the cylinder, and when it's in this vertical storage position, the oil level's up about here. So this is another potential leak path that we had to address. So we added this little seal, and it slides on over here, and there's a new machined pocket in the cylinder to accept it. And this keeps the oil inside. What I have here are two different governor paddles. This is the old, this is the new. And the difference is that the new one has been deburred specially, and that means that all the little sharp edges have been taken off of it, and it's plated so you can visually tell the difference between them. And the reason we wanted to make sure there were no sharp edges is that when you slide on our little seal here, you don't want to slice through it and make a leak path for the oil. When you put all these different design components together, what you get is an engine that can be stored vertically, and you get a Toro recycler with Smart Stow that can be stored upright to save you space in your garage or shed.
This mower, when stored vertically, will save up to 70% space compared to a traditional mower with the fixed handle system.
You also can clean out underneath the mower much easier, making your mower perform the way it's supposed to, keeping your lawn looking the way it's supposed to, but you can also access the blade for maintenance there.
Some people have asked if this mower is heavy to lift. It's actually very easy to lift as you're lifting the handle and rotating about the rear wheels instead of doing a deadlift.
There's not another mower like this out there. This is a unique combination of engine and mower that's going to save you space in your garage. It's going to be easy to clean. It's going to be easy to maintain. We got together with Toro because we knew they were a great partner. They're about innovation, they're about bringing cool things to market. Personal Pace is a great example of that. And we said, hey, this might be a great opportunity to do something new and work together. So we put together a unit and we came and started talking to John and the team at Toro.
It was a couple years ago that Briggs was able to find the right manufacturing and design capabilities to really take their engine and make it store vertically. And that's where we really came together in a true partnership and started the development of this program and understanding which mower made sense and where was the right application.
And it took us that long to finally put the whole package together to make sure all the components were right, and working with Toro and John and team to make sure that the mower and the engine were married together the way they needed to be.
You can find the Toro Recycler Smart Stow at Toro dealers, select Home Depot stores, and online at toro.com and homedepot.com.